They say even the sky has two faces, one for the rain, one for the sun. My sister and I were born minutes apart. Two daughters of the same womb, the same mother's cry, but from the very beginning, the world only smiled at her. Olanma, with her honey skin and eyes like morning light. And me? I was just the other twin. I used to think it was just fate. Maybe I was born to walk in her shadow, until I saw the way men looked at her. The way their smiles curled when she entered a room, like she was a song only they could hear, and not me. That's when everything began to change. Our village, Yumuwife, was the kind that smelled of roasted yams in the evening and echoed with laughter from across red, dusty compounds. Chickens roamed freely, and the moon always seemed too full, like it was watching over secrets it dared not reveal. My sister Olanma was the village flower, that's what they called her. They said her smile could make even the palm wine taste sweeter, but no one ever asked how I, Oleito, the other twin, felt. No one noticed that I too stood beside her, at every festival, every gathering. It started with small things. A laugh that lasted too long after she spoke. A stare that lingered a little too deep. Mothers would come to our compound just to see her. Young men brought gifts for the family, but they only looked at her. Then came the envy. The kind that crawls under your skin like ants after sugar. And then the herbalist. They said we shared a womb, yet I often wondered if we shared the same destiny. It started small. A giggle that lingered when she spoke. A boy who came bearing fruit. And never once looked at me. Have you ever stood next to someone and felt invisible? Tell me, if you were in my shoes, would you have done differently? Olanma had a laugh that made mothers smile and fathers proud. Her laughter was like bells in the wind, light, bright, and unforgettable. She walked as if the ground was lucky to touch her feet, though she claimed she never noticed the way people stared. Maybe she didn't. But I did. I was the quieter one. The one with eyes always scanning the room. Measuring every look she received, and every look I didn't. They called us twins, but even I knew, the village never saw me as her equal. Olanma was the sun that lit up our world. I was just the shadow it cast. One afternoon, a group of suitors came, young men with proud shoulders and cows for dowry. They handed baskets of yams, gold necklaces, and cartons of palm wine to our parents. Our father was smiling. He said, "Ah, Olanma. Even the gods would line up for your hand." Our mother continued, "May your beauty bring us kings as sons-in-law." I stood by the doorway, smiling like I was part of it. But I wasn't. I never was. Until one day, I met the one who showed me that things could be different. That I didn't have to watch anymore. And that was the day I walked toward the forest. And the herbalist. The herbalist's hut stood at the edge of the forest, hidden by leaves thicker than truth and air heavy with whispers. It smelled of bitter leaves and secrets. I remember the way the wind stopped when I stepped inside, like even the trees were watching. He didn't ask me why I came. He didn't need to. He simply looked at me, like he'd seen girls like me before. Girls who loved and hated with equal fire. Girls who just wanted to be seen. He said, "Bring me one thing she touches every day. Something she trusts." So I went back home, heart pounding like a drum at a festival. That night, while Olanma was sleeping, I took her mirror, the one she smiled into every morning. The one that reflected a face the whole world adored. But one I had come to resent. The herbalist crushed herbs that looked like dried tongues, mixed them with dark oil, and smeared the paste on the glass. "She will still be herself," he said. "But others will see what jealousy has hidden," and just like that, it began. The next week, 3 suitors came. All left before the palm wine could be served. Their faces pale. Their hands shaking. One even screamed when he looked at her. "What did you see?" my father asked. "Not her," one whispered. "Something monstrous," Alama cried behind closed doors. She asked the gods why men fled from her. She scrubbed her face with sand. Wept into her bedsheets. And all the while, I stood outside her door, listening. And when she asked, "Oleito, do I look strange to you?" I lied. I told her she was still beautiful, and I smiled. Because to me, she had always been too beautiful. Would you have done the same? If your own blood outshone you at every turn, would you have found a way to stop her light? Or would you have let it blind you? Then came the man no spell could deceive. He arrived in Yumuif on a Thursday. His convoy raised the dust of 3 compounds as it entered. They said he was a pastor, young, wealthy, and powerful in prayer. He wore clean white, and his Bible was heavier than any I've ever seen. But what struck me most were his eyes. Eyes that didn't blink when they met mine. Eyes that didn't stop at the face, they searched the soul. When he first saw Alama, he didn't flinch. Didn't tremble. He smiled and asked, "May I speak with your parents?" The family gathered. My mother had made bitter leaf soup. My father adjusted his wrapper at least 5 times. Alama sat quietly, unsure what to expect. And me? I stood near the doorway, ready to vanish if needed. Then the pastor stood up. He turned to me, not her, and said, "You know what you've done. Confess, or the prayer I say next will not set you free. It will return what you sent out to you." I felt my knees tremble. My lips cracked with dryness. Every eye turned to me, but none burned as deeply as Alama's. Not angry. Just broken. I tried to lie. My tongue refused. I tried to stand firm. My knees buckled. So I spoke. I confessed. Every moment. Every mirror. Every drop of jealousy I had poured into her reflection. The room was so silent, we could hear the neighbor's chicken scratching the earth outside. My father held his chest. My mother's hand dropped the ladle. And Alama. She cried. But not for herself. For me. She came to me, touched my hand, and whispered, "I forgive you, sister." It was the first time in years I felt human again. She forgave me. And when the day came, the one everyone in Yumuif still talks about, her wedding, it was grand. White horses led the procession. Drummers from 3 villages played. The air smelled of jollof rice and roasted goat meat. Her gown shimmered like rain on dry earth. She walked down the aisle like a woman who knew her place in the world. And me? I was there, dressed in coral beads and a borrowed wrapper. I clapped. I smiled. I even danced when the camera passed by. But inside, I was hollow. The cheers around me were echoes. I had won nothing. I had gained no joy. The rich pastor, now her husband, took her to Canada. They sent pictures, letters, postcards of snow and tall buildings. And always, she wrote, "I love you, sister," and I stayed in Yumuif. The town that roasted yams in the evening and once echoed with my laughter. Back when envy hadn't stolen my voice. I watched girls grow up, fall in love, get married. And every time I looked in the mirror, I didn't see a monster. I saw a warning. Because the truth is, jealousy is a fire. And no matter who it's aimed at, it burns only the one who lights it. Love. Love is a light. And even when it's hidden, buried, or twisted, it will always find its way back to the surface. I told you my story, not to be pitied, but so that you may see yourself somewhere between the lines. Maybe you're Olanma, the one chosen, the one others envy. Or maybe you're me, Oleito, standing in the shadow of someone else's light, wishing it was yours. But tell me, what would you have done if you were Olanma? Could you forgive the sister who tried to curse your beauty? And if you were Oleito, would you have stopped? Or gone even further? Stories like this don't end in books. They live in the choices we make, in the dark, when no one's watching. So tell me, what part of this tale did you feel most? Drop your answer in the comments. If this story touched something inside you, like this video, and subscribe to African World Tales by Pinnacle for more powerful African folktales, stories that carry lessons, legends, and life. And please, share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Someone who might be standing too close to envy, or too far from love.